how do these little children see the world? What is the target? What should the parents do for this? What are your thoughts about this? How important is this primary education to these children? How does the modern world look like to these children in their point of view?
Yes, likewise, so many questions may rise up inside yourselves. We can assure that all the answers and solutions for all your questions and problems will be gained at the end of this program.
Hello everyone, welcome to a very special program on children. Children are a very special gift that we all have. And today we're going to talk about children who are aged below 10 years and what are the challenges they face, especially in the modern society with regards to their education system. How we're going to overcome these challenges, what are the solutions that we can provide to these issues, we're going to talk about that today. So, to discuss about these issues and the solutions and everything that will be important for y'all, we do have with us Attorney at Law Mr. Trizvi Marika, Principal of Zahira College, Colombo. And we also have Dr. Ganesa Murthy, Senior Lecturer of Economics, University of Colombo. And we also have Dr. Rais Mira, Coach, Trainer and Business Owner. Welcome you all. So children, as I mentioned, they are very precious to us. We need to secure their childhood in order to safeguard their future. So we'll start with now the modern world. How does the modern world look like to these children in their point of view? Mr. Trizvi?
Well, when it comes to the children below age 10, they are in the primary education sector in terms of the education terminology. Their world is something different from our world and the world that we educationists do think of. That is because the children come to school not with the clear aim of learning something like acquiring knowledge, but they come to school to have fun, particularly in this age category children, and then they also want to do a lot of activities. So that is why the primary education is mostly designed on activity-based education, and the syllabus is integrated syllabus. So these children have fun, they have a lot of things to do, and they make friends, and the socialization process begins the second stage at the college.
Would like to turn to Dr. Ganesa Murthy. What are your thoughts? How do these little children see the world? Their world is different.
Exactly, because the child world is entirely different from the adult's world. When a child born and the first person the child interact with is the mother, and as the child grow, they introduce to the family members and other people. So the family is the world initially.
That's how the principal, the lecturer, they see the world of a child aged below 10 years. Would like to turn to the counselor himself. Dr. Rais, now what are your thoughts? You may add your thoughts to this question.
Yes, really a good question about below 10 years kids. Small kids are like their age up to 10 years is sponge age. They are like sponge. They are always going to grab from parents, from environment, from friends, maybe relations, grandmas, likewise, wherever they want to get things into their mind and their body. So they are the fast learners. They can learn 2 to 3 languages also, and where they are very smart.
These fast learners of aged below 10 years are provided with primary education. Would like to turn to our principal, Mr. Trizvi. Now, how important is this primary education to these children?
Well, primary education is the most, the biggest foundation that we can lay for the child, because the secondary education, tertiary education and university education all are later they will be successful only if this foundation is laid well. So all the countries, primary education has been given prominence. So the school teacher as well as the parent, particularly the mother, has a big role to play. If you put that then of course we can see a good secondary level student and good tertiary level student. But the point here what I want to mention is the commitment, dedication that we put towards these children will make him a man one day. So if you don't put it, then the rest of the matter is going to be a waste. So the primary education is very, very important. Of course, the developed countries, the most highly paid teachers are in the primary teachers. Most qualified people are the primary teachers, because they have to give that prominence in order to see that the child is given good exposure.
That's why these 5 years are very important for a child. I would like to turn to Dr. Ganesamurthy. As a lecturer, how do you see the importance of primary education?
Giving a primary education a correct path, not only education but the attitude, the psychology, the valuing the others, the behavioral patterns, all these can be designed during this period. So the primary education need not necessarily be based on examination based. It should be not the performance based even. It should be target based. What is the purpose of this primary education? Is to develop a good citizen. So to do so, what are the major requirements? And that should be inculcated into the primary education system.
Sir highlighted a very important point in that case, like what is important in the primary education? Yes, primary education is very important, but what is mandatory? It's not a race, it's not a competition, but what is the target? That's the most important thing. What are your thoughts about it, Dr. Ives?
Within this 10 years time, whatever we are giving the best, you don't need to worry about in future. We must inculcate the best quality knowledge, not only knowledge, habits, behaviors, talkings, and everything we must inculcate within the small one, because 10 years most important to build the building, as professor say.
Exactly, like becoming a child and then after youth and then getting into secondary education, tertiary, and then maybe higher studies. It all starts with primary education. That's what we were discussing about, the importance of primary education. Whereas the child is given it first in their first 10 years of life here on the planet Earth. So that's the importance, and we're going to talk about the factors that hinder the learning activities of students. Would like to turn to our principal.
Yes, in the present day context, of course, there are so many things, and number one is the handphone, that everybody loving to have that, and without that you can't do anything. I always believe that they do not have a good hobby. Now, good old days we had the stamp collecting, pen pal, a lot of things. So that all developed a child in their personality. But today, more technically oriented, technology oriented things only they do. Even if they want to play a cricket match, they can play by using the phone. If they want to play chess, they can do it there. So it is not physically connected things that they do.
Dr. Ganesamurthy, now we see these children, they have reduced leisure activities. They don't have time to spend with their family. Now, as a principal, Mr. Trizvi did mention about these issues starting from the mobile phone, these high-tech equipment. What are these? What are the other factors that really risk or hinder their learning?
Made these younger people isolated from their family members. They don't talk to the family members whenever they get the mobile phone, and the parents also think that it's easy for them to manage for the time being. If you are having a separate room, for example, for every child, they go and shut down the door and they do whatever they want with the mobile phones. So when you disturb them, they become more violent and arrogant. So engaging with children of this age is important. So whatever they do, call them and ask, what are you doing? Not in a way, these children, they don't like to ask, what are you doing? So what you want? They will return, right? They don't like the parents interfere in their whatever they are doing. So there should be a cordial relationship between the parents and the child. Difficult to develop, but somehow this has to be done.
Would like to get a solution from Dr. Rice. What do you think? What should the parents do for this?
Well, we must ask questions instead of giving orders. Learn to learn. This is for students, I am telling you. Ask from everyone. You must learn to learn. Second, you must learn to know. You must learn to know. Third, you must learn how to learn smarter. The fourth one is most important, that is to follow, that is learn to teach. From small age onwards, if they started to learn to teach model, because if you see 7 years one can teach the 5 years one, no?
Yes.
So it is not necessary to become a teacher. So always they are teachers. So they must learn to teach.
Small things to follow. You can try this at home.